Um, I hit go live before it was noon because I'm really just that excited to talk about this topic, which is making Google Calendar cleaner and easier to use for your life, for your business, however you prefer to use your Google Calendar. We are here to make it easier for you. If you have never been with me live, wherever you're watching from, whether you are on YouTube and you have just stumbled across me, hello. If you are with me on Facebook, I'm so glad you're here. I'm Stephanie Young. I am an audacious success coach, and I firmly believe that every single person on this planet can have wild, amazing success if they just had the audacity to take some bold and surprising risks. And it might sound silly to say that you could use Google Calendar to take those risks, but it's true. Oftentimes, when people think about success or being really bold or being really audacious, they think that they have to do these really huge, huge things. But often it's in our small, consistent things that we see the biggest improvement. And to see small steps, to take those small steps, to see that big improvement, we have to do things consistently. And to do things consistently, we have to sometimes use a planner. And a lot of times, people think that they need to find planner perfection. And if you have been searching for planner perfection, I'd love to know what planner you have maybe used in the past, because I feel like I could list at least 30 planners that I've used in the past. I've been a Passion Planner fan. I still love them. If you're a pen and paper person, give that one a try. I've used I believe it was called the Purpose Planner, the 90-day planner. There's a Panda Planner, the Happy Planner, the disc bound one, the Aaron Condren Planner, the Golden Coil. That one was really fun because it was customizable. I decided to go digital and I paid for the Artful Agenda, which was really cool, and it actually would sync with your Google Calendar. But I felt like every time I turn around, there's another planner popping up. I myself was like, oh, I should make a planner. And then I realized that no matter how many planners are out there on the market, and there could be dozens and dozens and dozens, probably hundreds of planners, if we as a human never figure out how to use that planner, that tool, you could buy a new planner every year. You could buy a new brand of planner every month. But if we never figure out how to use the tool for ourselves, it won't matter. And so I thought, you know, Stephanie, we've tried all these planners. We've tried digital, we've tried paper, and we've never really stuck with anything. And so I was like, oh, let's try one more time to stick to something. And I thought I would try digital. And here's why I thought let's try digital. So if you are a paper and pen planner person and you've never gone digital, this might be just a fun dip your toe in the water kind of tutorial. And if you are already a digital planner, but you feel like your digital planner is a hot mess, this might be a really fun, like, let me jump in the deep end kind of a thing. But we're here to talk about Google Calendar because I've been consistently using my Google Calendar for about a year and a half now, and it has been a complete game changer for me. It's really helped me stay more organized, be more consistent about how I attack my goals, how I keep on top of things in general. And so if you have used Google Calendar before, I'd love to know, say Google Calendar. And if you have never used it ever and you're like, oh my word, this is all new for me, you can just say newbie in the comments and I'll know how this is for you. But one of the reasons that I picked Google Calendar is because I like how Google talks to itself. I love how if I put something in my Google Calendar on my phone, it will communicate to the Google Calendar on my desktop and on my iPad. Or if for some reason I didn't have my phone but I wanted to see my calendar, I could log into Google at the public computer at the library and I would be able to see my calendar. And so for me, it was the ability to see everything kind of in one place. And so that is why I'm a huge fan of Google Calendar. I know there are tons of other digital calendars out there. One of my friends, P, just suggested Fantastical, and so I'm going to look into that one too. She said that it just functions way better, but I have really dove into all of the different things that Google Calendar can do, and so I'm going to show some of those things to you. And I know there's even more things that it can do that I still am learning about. And that's another reason I love Google. I feel like it's always getting better. But today we're going to jump into Google Calendar, and I'm going to show you how I use it, how I've made it cleaner, and how I've made it easier to use for myself. And for fun, I'm even going to show you guys my calendar. We're actually going to build one completely from scratch because I was like, oh, if I show them my personal calendar, they might actually have a small heart attack. But it's how I've made it work for me. And so I thought we're going to do this from scratch together. So I'm going to share my screen and we're going to walk through the step-by-step how you can use your Google Calendar to make it cleaner and easier to use. And you'll also get my guide. Let me drop that in the link. Or in the chat. I'm gonna give that to you guys right now so that you have it. Now, if you've been on any of my other tutorials, you might notice that when I give you a Google Doc in the comments, like if I drop that there, it has COPY, like the backslash COPY. So when you click on that link, it opens Google Doc for you and it says make a copy. So that means that you can make a copy of that Google Doc and it gives you the ability to like save that in your Google Drive so you can reference it in the future. So that is there. It's my gift to you so that you can follow along. I'm going to show you what's like right now so that you can say, okay, well, what was that thing you just shared? So we're going to open that. I'm going to share my screen so you can see. Give me two. There we go. Okay, so this is the Google Doc that I've just dropped in the comments, which you guys, like I said, it's my gift to you. You can grab it from the comments and have this copy for yourself, but it is the Google Calendar tips. There's an intro for you. If you click on this blue highlighted here, it actually takes you to a quick little YouTube video that I absolutely makes me giggle every time I watch it. So I encourage you to do it. It has the step-by-step guide of what we're going to do today, what I'm going to show you today, literally opening the Google Calendar that you want to work in, how to pick the categories that you want in your calendar, being as broad or specific as you want. Oops, apparently I can't spell, so let me fix that on let me fix that on the other one. See, and isn't this just a joy here that you guys can see that even I make some mistakes when I type things. And since this is my copy, I can fix it as well. But some categories that you can pick, you'll notice that this list is really big. You do not need to pick all of these categories for your calendar. Today, we're only going to pick a handful for the purpose of this example. And then we're going to actually, once we've picked some categories, go through and show you how to add it to your calendar, what you can do with it. Once this replay is over, I'm going to add the link to the training into the Google Doc. So if you don't want to save your Google Doc yet until there's a copy, you can wait till this video is over and then I'll update it. And then here is some information on if you want to get more of me, because maybe you would like to have some help setting up your Google Calendar. I'm offering some one-on-one time with me, some extra special VIP days where we can set up your Google Calendar together. We'll pick your categories, we'll pick the colors that you want, and we'll set up your calendar together. So I am offering some VIP days this month, really excited about it. And you can send an email to me with the subject line VIP Day Google Calendar, and we can get that set up. But this is the Google Doc that we're going to be working on. And then let me show you the calendar that we'll be working in as well. So this is a blank Google Calendar. It is completely blank, 100%, so that you guys can see from scratch how you can create your Google Calendars. Now, if you already have things in your Google Calendar and you're like, I don't want to start, I don't want to start from scratch, I don't want to delete things, please don't. You can 100% start with a Google Calendar that already has information in it. This is simply me starting with a blank one so that you can, if you've never set one up before, you can see how it is done. Now, like I said, we're going to pick some categories so that you can see from start to finish how we do this. And I'm going to show you on the calendar. So when you think of categories, they're kind of like your micro calendars. So this is your macro calendar. This whole thing here is your macro calendar. And then where it says my calendars here, this little thing on the side where there's the 3 check marks, Stephanie Young, birthdays and tasks, those are your micro calendars or your categories. So for the purposes of this video, what we're doing today, like I said, whether you're watching with me on Facebook or on YouTube, when we talk about categories in your calendar, it's your micro calendars, the things in your my calendars list. All right. So we're going to pick some categories and I'm going to come back to this Google Doc. So I'm going to come back to it really quickly and we're going to look at this list of categories and we're going to pick a couple of categories that we're going to put on this blank calendar so you can see how to do it together. Now, again, there's a lot of things on here and I'm going to touch on a couple of topics that are a bit more specific, but we're not necessarily going to do today. So again, that's something that we can do on a VIP day. I also want you to know that like I have my notebook here because I want to make sure that I'm following my own like guide because otherwise like I'll get myself lost. So I'm going to go ahead and pick self-care as a category because that is important to me, making sure that I'm taking care of myself because otherwise I will like forget to schedule time for me and then I get burnt out and I wonder why I'm exhausted. I am going to pick the category child because I have a child and having his schedule on the calendar is important. And then I have my like work schedule because I track what I do like for my clients, going live, things like that. But if you are in college, that is a great thing to put in your calendar. So I'm going to do work. And then for fun, let's pick one other category. Appointments. That's always a good one to have, even if you don't have a ton of appointments. Appointments. Oh, I'm going to do the menu category as well, although I can't remember. Yep, meals is on here. So meals. Now, I will tell you that I love to dive into meal planning as its own completely separate topic, and doing meal planning in your Google Calendar can be a whole other training. So we'll actually dive deeper into meal planning within your Google Calendar as a whole other training, probably in a couple of weeks, because I want to show you guys some extra things in Google Calendar, plus how you can use Google Tasks to sync with your Google Calendar and meal planning. So we're going to do a lot of things in Google Calendar together in the month of July. And if you're like, I really don't like Google Calendar, come join me again in August. But I'm really pumped to show you guys how you can be a bit more efficient within Google Calendar and Google itself, because it's free tools that you can use to make life easy. So I'm going to also, now that we have, I'm going to come back to this list. So now that we've picked our categories, important. So we're going to pick the category. So now we're going to pick, we're going to assign colors to categories. We're going to pick colors. Now I just did a quick Google search. I'm going to share this tab. I did a quick Google search of rainbow hex codes. Now, if you don't love rainbow colors, or if you're particular to like your favorite color is green, you could search green hex codes if you want everything in your calendar to be green, or you could just use the colors that are already in Google. It's completely up to you. But for fun, I wanted to show you guys how you could do this. So I have looked up rainbow hex codes because I wanted to be able to differentiate all the different things. So once you've picked the categories, the micro calendars that you want in your Google Cal, you can then pick custom colors if you would like. And for fun, we're going to do custom colors. So I picked 5 categories or micro calendars: self-care, child, work, appointments, and meals. So for me, appointments are always like the urgent, crazy important thing. It's like my doctor's appointments, taking my car to get an oil change. So for me, in my brain, that color is always red. You can pick whatever color you want, but to me, urgent, really crazy important things are always red, because it's like that warning light that comes on, like, go do this thing. So that's always really important. Work tasks for me almost always end up, it's the color violet. So I'm going to do violet. And that's because most of my branding colors are purple. And so for me, work and purple go together. For self-care, I'm going to do yellow, because yellow is such a sunshiny, happy color to me that I'm just going to pick yellow because self-care to me should be a sunshiny, happy type of task. But you could always pick blue because blue is calming. Again, it's personal preference. That's kind of the joy of this. For my child, I am going to pick, because I have meals too. So for my kiddo, I am going to pick blue because he really loves blue. Honestly, he loves it. For the purposes of this, we're going to pick blue. And then for my meals, we are going to do green. Again, that's just for the purpose of this exercise and mostly so that I can make sure that I'm picking the right hex codes when I calendar. And the joy is these hex codes are highlightable. And so now when I go to input them in my Google Cal, I'll be able to get them. So I'm going to go ahead and grab the red one first. And I like to copy and paste them so that I don't accidentally do the wrong thing. So I'm going to come back to my Google Calendar. Still, okay, cool. Still here, still keeping up. So I'm going to Google Calendar. Now that I have picked the categories that I want, my micro calendars, I've picked the color that correlates to that calendar, the things that I want to live in my calendar, the things I want to track, the things I want to be able to put in the space that I want to know, like if I'm out and about and I check my phone, oh, that thing is there, I'm good to go. So like I said, I'm going to start with the appointments category, which I designated for the color red. So in my Google Calendar, where it says calendars, I am going to come to this little icon that says settings menu, settings, because I need to add my micro calendar. I need to add my my category. So in the left-hand side of the settings, you can adjust a lot of things like your time zone, your world, and we get into that a little later. I don't want to get too overwhelming, but this is where you can adjust a lot of things. Mine already has my time zone because I'm in the Eastern time zone, but this right here where it says add calendar, that is where we want to be so that we can add this micro calendar, our category, to our big Google Cal. So we are going to do create new calendar. So we are going to name this calendar appointments. I will tell you that Google Calendar does everything alphabetically. So if you don't want this to be alphabetical or you wish it would like line up in a different way, you can always like, you could try numbering it, or you can be like, hey, appointments, or you could put a little emoji. I was like, what's that word? I'm not going to stress about it today just for the purpose of the video, but you can do appointments and you can describe the calendar. So this would be any kind of important or urgent appointment. Spelled appointment wrong. See, again, I'm human. These things happen. Sometimes I don't spell. Oh, essential. See, and then my Grammarly likes to tell me that I need to call it an essential or urgent appointment. But there we go. Okay, so I'm still keeping it in the correct time zone. I am the owner of this and create calendar. So now that I've created this calendar, ta-da, and then calendar creation in progress, yay. It says appointments successfully created. So I can immediately go and configure that calendar, or I can create the other 4 categories that I picked. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So that would be self-care. I'm not going to worry about describing it because I know what that means for me. We're going to go ahead and do child. I know my kiddo's name, so I'm actually going to write his name out. Okay, we'll just do it. So you could do child 1, and then you could make a calendar for child 2 if you have more than one child. You could even make a calendar for your spouse if you track your spouse's like work schedule, workouts, whatever. You could make a calendar just for your spouse. So we've done appointments, child 1, self-care. So we do work and then meals. So you can see on the side where it says settings for my calendar, it's listing everything in alphabetical order minus the Stephanie Young calendar and birthdays. Those are always going to be at the top for some reason ever. It doesn't ever change that, but meals or menu, you can kind of make that whatever you would like, but we're going to go ahead and make those categories. Hello, hello. whoever's watching. I'd love to know if you're watching, are you a Google Calendar user or a pen and paper calendar user? That's always fun to learn. So create calendar. I accidentally just made 2 mail calendars. It's on me, Okay, so now I'm going to hit configure because we've made them all. So this is where we should be able to adjust the color. And if it doesn't, we could do it from the other side. That's totally fine. Okay. Nope, it's not going to let us do a color here. And that's okay. But you can actually add people to this calendar, and then they can see it as well. It'll be added to their calendar. So this is why another reason I really like Google Cal. You can actually share these things with other people. But you can see that they've already designated a color for all of these things. They did it for us, but you can customize things to your own preferences. So because the boxes are checked, it means anything we add will be visible on our calendar. So we've picked our categories, and then I'm going to show you how you can adjust the color. So I'm just on today's date, and we're going to add an event. I'm going to click more options because, again, I want to adjust the color. So appointments. So when you clicked on select event color, you can actually see the colors here. Oh, it's not giving us the option to pick I will find where you can select the specific color because I know Google Calendar lets us do this. I've done it in my other calendar and it's great. But you can pick the colors. So they do have some colors. They have like red, orange, yellow, pink, 2 different shades of green, 2 different blues, 3 different purples, and gray. So you could just use Google's, but I have adjusted the colors themselves. So I will find that as a little addendum. Just did it this morning. But my brain, here we go. Okay, so it's going on the appointments calendar. So this would be something like dentist appointment. See, seriously, guys, dentist checkup or whatever you want to call it. This is up to you. Typically, you don't go to the dentist all day. So maybe you're going to go on July 5th. Your appointment is at 2 o'clock. Maybe your appointment's an hour long, so 2 to 3. And here's the other thing I really like about Google Cal is that it doesn't repeat, or typically you don't go daily, but you can say it repeats daily, weekly, monthly, annually on the 5th, every day, or you could customize it. Now, usually you see the dentist like twice a year, but you might not see them exactly on the 6 months from now date. So doing custom may or may not help, but you could come into your custom and say it repeats every for a month. You could do every 6 months. And then it would say on the 5th day, 6 months from now, you could get a reminder, hey, we have a dentist checkup. And it would remind you to schedule your dent checkup if you didn't already make the appointment when you were there getting your checkup. I do not need this reminder, but for fun, I'm going to leave the appointment there. So we're going to hit save. And then on our in red, it's going to show up that we have a dentist checkup. So this is how we can color code things. And then like for my child, so for fun, I'm going to click on another one. So it would be daycare. And I'm going to actually click on more options because to me that's important. I love showing this. So this one, it's not all day. So daycare, typical daycare schedule could be anywhere from like 7:30 to 5:30. Oops. So 7:30 to 5:30. And then typically daycare is a Monday through Friday. So you could do daily, but maybe it's not. Oh, there we go. Every weekday. So Monday through Friday. Again, this would be your child's schedule. And again, I picked for my kiddo. His schedule is blue. So we're going to save that. And so then when you come back to your calendar, it's going to populate and then it's going to show up. So if you click on child schedule, if you uncheck that, it takes it off of your calendar. But if you recheck that box, it'll show up that your child's schedule is that they have daycare from the time that it starts until the time that it ends. Now, if you really, really want to get specific, because you might have to share this schedule, you can edit their daycare schedule. And in the description, you can add location of the daycare, the information with for the teacher's name, the phone number of the daycare facility. You can add that. And then when you add guests or you like share this calendar with somebody else, like your spouse, a significant parent, they have access to that information too. And so if they need to like do a pickup or drop something off for you, instead of you having to text them that information, because they have access to this calendar, they'll be able to see it in their Google Calendar without having to ask you. And to me, that is a huge time saver. And I love that so, so much. So that's a great way to add information. And you can also like physically add a location as well, but I typically put it in the description and it does the same thing. But to me, that is such a great, fantastic way to like save information. Okay, so we did that. And then for your work schedule, like maybe you work a schedule that isn't consistent every day. And so you can put in the different calls that you have. So let's go ahead and do that. So I always go live on Wednesdays. And I'm just doing this as a quick ad because I don't need to add a ton of info. I'm going to repeat it weekly on Wednesdays, and it's going to go on my work schedule. Work. And again, work for me is purple. So I'm just going to change that color real quick. Save. And then you'll notice on Wednesdays at 12 o'clock, it's going to say go live, and it's in purple. So I'm super excited. And then self-care can be something that you do daily or weekly. It's just personal preference. So self-care. So this one for me, and I want to show you guys what you can do if you put it in as like an all-day thing. You can leave it as an all-day thing without adding a time. You can make it an event, or you can make it a task. And your self-care thing could be like, take 5 minutes to meditate. And maybe you could say take daily, because saying doing it in the morning could be really crazy, or doing it in the evening, but saying take 5 minutes to meditate daily. And then you can say this does repeat daily, or however many times you want it to repeat. And you can just say this is something that I want, and you can hit save. And then it should populate every single day on your calendar. And so every day, self-care will be there as a reminder. Hey, take 5 minutes to meditate daily, and it'll be there. Now, I would have wanted this in yellow, so let me see if I can fix that. Because again, I like to color code all my things. Nope, it's not going to let me fix it. Okay, I will figure out why it's not letting these things, because that's already driving me bonkers. But I promise you, things can be color coded in Gmail and Google Calendar. But then every day you have that reminder, hey, like minutes to do self-care. And maybe like you're not a fan of meditation. Maybe you want to go for a walk outside every day. Maybe you want to do some yoga. Maybe your favorite care is just having your cup of tea or a cup of coffee or like lemon water. And so you can add these things into your calendar instead of writing them on a paper list and being like, oh, I need to do blah, blah, blah. You can simply build it into your calendar. This is another great way to do your meals. But I'm going to show you, this is really fun. Instead of making it a task, so it'd be like chicken, chili. That's not right. I would spell chili wrong. So we're just going to do tacos. And this one is going to be for meals. There we go. So tacos. Let's do meatloaf. Meals. Oh, I see. I forgot to change it here. Meals was green. Save. All right, let me fix tacos because it's already going to drive me nuts. Okay, so meals, tacos, green, save. So for your meal planning, and this is just quick touching on it, you can actually add them every day, and you could build your whole menu plan inside your Google Calendar. And then let's say tomorrow happens and you're like, oh, we didn't have tacos, it's something else, but we still want to have tacos. You can literally just drag tacos over to Saturday, and then it'll live there. And you can be like, oh, well, we'll just have tacos on Saturday the 8th. And then the great thing is, if you're like, oh, we really love having tacos in our family, you could click on tacos, edit it, and then you you could hit repeat. You're like, maybe we don't want to have them every single, but we like having it custom. You could do every, so you could do, sorry, you could do a month. You could do it every 15 days. You could kind of mess with this. And when you hit done and then you hit save, you'll notice that tacos is going to show up on the 8th and then the 23rd. And so you can kind of do some meal planning within your Google Calendar without having to put a ton of thought, like especially if you have families that like to repeat meals. We do pizza on Fridays a lot, and so my menu plan literally just says pizza every Friday. And then if we have a Friday we don't eat pizza, it's not a big deal. But like for the most part, it says pizza every Friday. But you can actually use your Google Calendar to do some menu planning. But you can build almost anything into your Google Calendar, your work schedule, your child's schedule, your appointments, self care, your menu. You can build so many things into your Google Calendar to eliminate having to write it down on a piece of paper and then where did my piece of paper go? You can build reminders into your Google Calendar so that it'll pop up and tell you. Again, we can color code. I'm going to show you the list of categories again, just in case you were like, oh, what else could I put in here? And again, this is just a suggestion. So you can have like your significant other schedule in it, or they can have their own calendar and share it with you. You can have multiple calendars for your children. So if you have 3 kids, they can each have their own. And that can include like their school schedule, their activities, anything like that. And they can have it all in their own calendar. They don't need to have separate ones unless you really, really want to break it down. Your work or like college schedule, your meals, your morning or night routines. I have sleep built into my schedule so that it's like, hey, Stephanie, go to bed now. Your housework or your home maintenance. I love building this into my calendar because we have to change our air filters every month. And if you're anything like me where you're super busy, you might actually forget to do it. And so it's built into my calendar with a reminder on like the last day of the month to be like, hey, go change your air filters so that it's done and fresh for the beginning of the next month. We do the same thing with our toothbrush heads. Every 3 months? I think it's every 3 months. I get a reminder quarterly like, hey, it's time to change the toothbrush heads on your toothbrush. And so building this in my calendar, I get that and it's there. Building in your workouts, building in rest time, like building out your goals. If there's something that you really want to work towards, a savings goal, a personal goal, you could map out all the steps you want to take and build it into your calendar. Putting your bills in, your paydays, things like that. Scheduling birthdays, which come back to birthdays because I have a bone to pick with Google Cal on that. Building in your tasks, which we'll talk about that next week because I'll show you how you can use your Google tasks and your calendar to be more efficient. Transportation or travel. Oh, I haven't apparently really love travel because transportation and travel were 2 different categories. Self-care, your appointments, social events, holidays, and hobbies. I'm going to touch on hobbies or holidays real quick, and then we'll come back to my bone to pick about birthdays. For holidays, this cracks me up all the time. Every year, like Christmas comes on the 25th of December every single year. And yet every single year when I go to the post office, people seem like shocked that Christmas is coming. And they're like, oh my gosh, what do you mean my packages aren't going to get there in time? And it's like, well, the post office gets really busy before Christmas. And we always know that Christmas is the 25th. Like, you could plan for it. And so something that you could actually use your calendar for is to say, hey, like once a month or once a quarter, I'm going to go shopping for the purpose of trying to find Christmas gifts. Like I'm going to be prepared, and every quarter before Christmas, I'm going to do a little bit of shopping for Christmas. A, it's going to help my budget. B, it's going to help me be prepared. And C, if I know, hey, I want my Christmas gifts to ship and be there in time for Christmas, I have all my shopping done before December 1st, I can get to the post office around like the 10th-ish, and I'm more likely to have less stress around the holidays. And you can build that into your calendar and save yourself some headache and some heartache around the holidays. And you could do this for any holiday. You could put a note in your calendar on like June 30th to do your shopping for July 4th. You could put a note in your calendar for February 1st to buy Valentine's for your kids for their Valentine's party. All the bigger things in our lives that happen, we could prepare for by simply putting notes and reminders in our Google Calendar days or weeks in advance. And then we don't have to be as stressed when big things come up. So it's a thought. And one of the reasons that I love being digital, because once you've put the reminder in once, you can set it to do a custom reminder every single year. Again, one of the reasons that I happen to really love being digital rather than paper, because once you've filled out a paper planner and then you have to switch to a new year and a new planner, you kind of have to go through and find all of the things that you wrote down the prior year that you want to remember for the next year. Whereas in a digital planner, especially in Google, and I'm sure it works in many other planners, is that if you put in a reminder to say, hey, can you remind me of this next year? It will remember that for you. So I'm a huge fan. Now, my tiny little soapbox moment about Google Cal and birthdays. Now, if you have contacts in your phone and you have their birthdays, Google Calendar actually has a birthdays tab. I will show it to you real quick. And then I will tell you the workaround for it, even though I think at least. So Google has a birthdays tab. Like it's literally right here. Oh, it does alphabetical. Okay. So appointments, birthdays. So it'll list birthdays of any contacts you have in your phone, which is great. But then it doesn't send you reminders about their birthdays like days prior. So if you were, man, I really want to get my friend a card, but it doesn't tell you about their birthday like a week in advance, you can't fix that in Google Cal. The workaround is to download the birthdays calendar, create a second birthday calendar, and then re-upload days and create reminders. A little bit of a pain, but it's the workaround. I still feel like Google could fix that, but hey. So I hope that this tutorial showing how you can pick categories that you want to live in your Google Calendar, your micro calendars. You can pick whatever categories you want, whether you want a bunch of categories or just a handful, can be a very way to organize your digital calendar. And again, you could use this probably digital platform ever. I simply use Google because it communicates with everything. You can then color code your categories so that you can and see, oh, this is a work thing. Oh, this is a meal thing. This is for my child. And then once you have picked your categories and colored them, you can build them into your calendar to see where things are. Connie, I know this, seriously, this is how I keep my life so organized, is by doing this in my Google Calendar. It makes my life so much easier. I'm just not showing you guys personal calendar because I realize I have some addresses in there that I don't want to share with the world. And sometimes your calendar is so crazy. I'm like, I promise it's not. Like my calendar isn't actually that crazy. It just looks like it. It's because everything is in it. I keep everything in there. And then you can set the reminders and do the things. I love it. I love it so much. And then I can literally leave my house, my phone, my wallet, and my keys, and I have everything I need. And so if I'm getting my haircut or the dentist or wherever, if I'm with a client and they want to book a day with me, I don't have to remember my paper planner because everything is with me and I know availability based on. I simply love it. And again, if I do something on laptop in my calendar, it communicates with my phone. Everything is there. It all works together. So pick your categories. If you want to color code, you can color code. Once you've picked your categories, just sit down and put everything in your calendar within that category that you want to add. Move on to the next category, and then the next, and then the next, and fill out your calendar accordingly. I'm going to stop sharing real quick and see if I can find the place where it lets you do assigned color code, because I know that it's in here and I'm just very slightly annoyed that it's not letting us do that, because like I said, I know that it's possible. I know that I can. Maybe it's this one. I don't think it's that. Nope. Okay. Anyway, I know it's possible to color code because I did this. I did it in my other calendar and everything was real specific. Anyway, I even did it this morning because I was playing with this and I don't know where it has gone. So there we go. Sometimes Stephanie forgets exactly what she was doing when she was doing it 20 seconds ago. Ha! Oh, I found it, you guys. I found it. I knew it was there. I was like, man, I was just playing with it. And then the second I'm like actually live, my brain's like, we're just kidding. Okay, so I'm going to grab the color I can. So I just Googled hex codes because that's the thing you need to change the thing. Okay, so we're going to do it for appointments. So we're going to do red. I right-clicked. I copied. I'm going to come back. What am I showing? I don't even know which one I'm showing now. There we go. Okay, I'm on my calendar. Okay, well, if you copy and paste the hex code from whatever website you're on and come back to your calendar, I'm going to click on appointments. That's the one I want. If you click on those three little dots and you see all the color here, and then you click on the little plus button where it says add custom color. Y'all, see, it didn't have to be as complicated as I thought. And then you just delete this one because we don't want it. And you hit paste, save. Now all of your appointments will be in red. I'm going to grab the other one, child, because that one, so I made my child blue. So I'm going to grab that hex code. I'm just going to do it for all of them so you guys can see. So my child, I'm going to click on those two little dots. This part is way easier to do on a desktop than on your phone. I will tell you, I tried to do this on my phone and it was not fun. This is way easier to do on a desktop. So sometimes setting things up from the get. Why didn't it change? Oh, come on now. I know it was. Please. See, in live, you just get to like experience the joy of like things not being perfect. Paste. There's two F's. Huh. Well, I know that's what the hex code is, but it's not doing it. 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. Yeah, that's it. All right, we're going to try it one more time because now I'm really confused. Well, it's too why it's not working. Okay, there we go. Yep, that's a blue I picked. Perfect, perfect. Okay. And then we're going to do the yellow because this one's always really fun. I love the bright, bright yellow that I picked for self-care. So we're going to do the plus. And you can 100% just use the hex codes, like the colors that Google has. You don't have to like pick your own. This is just if you want like a certain aesthetic in your calendar. Like you really don't have to have, it's personal preference. Like I would make my entire calendar all purple. Like please know that you don't have to have specific hex codes. You can use Google's colors and have a beautiful calendar that's color coded and delightful and everything will work fantastically. This is just me being silly. I can. And also then you can see what happens, but it should, in theory, update the colors. Maybe? Okay. Well, I can tell that my child's color is now blue. Oh, I didn't add anything to self-care. Oh, nope, so self-care should still be yellow. Okay. Well, that's funky. Oh, because it's in tasks. I made it a task. Let me update this and see what happens if I make it an event and not a task. Actually, I'm going to delete it. Let's do that. This and all following. Okay. I forget tasks are always blue and I don't want it to be a task. I want it to be an event. Self-care. It's an event. We're going to make it self-care. Self-care. Nope, not an appointment. Self-care. There we go. It's yellow. All right. So now I'm going to repeat. Oh, repeat. Please repeat. Repeat. Daily. Save. There we go. Self-care every day in yellow. I was like, I know it'll work. Ta-da. It's just that tasks are always blue in Google Calendar. Okay. So Connie, this actually is my, that one is my demo calendar It's the one that has like nothing on it. So it's my demo. But anyway, so I'm gonna drop the link for the Google Doc in the comments one more time, but I'll let you know that if you want the Google Doc with the link to the replay of this live, grab the copy after I'm done being live because I can't add the link until I'm done being live, but you can still, like, if you want the document before, that's fine too. Okay, so I will grab that so you guys can snag it. Chances are I will read back through the Google Doc and be like, oh, I should add this thing too. But, you know, here we are. It's always fun to learn together and do things live and have all the fun. But anyway, uh, again, if you have watched this whole thing or you watched part of it and you were like, I feel very overwhelmed and there's no way I could do this by myself, I have some VIP day spots available. You can send me a DM. You can use the email that's in the Google Doc. You can reach out to me and I can chat with you about what it looks like to have some one-on-one time with me to set up your Google Calendar so that it actually works for you and not against you, because I promise it can be clean and it can be really easy and it can be one of your new favorite free tools to make your life so much easier and just like really streamlined so that you're not unbelievably crazy stressed about everything that happens in your life. But I hope you guys have just a super wonderful Wednesday. Next week, I'm going to show you guys how to use Google Tasks, which is also one of my favorite free tools, and how it like actually talks to Google Calendar and they can work together. So have a super amazing day, and I will see you guys